think art is boring, then you've obviously never seen the work of a hot, up-and-coming artist making waves here in New York City.
Don't sweat the technique.
Music and art and culture, past and present, intersections this confident young artist is examining with relish. He says his work is an exploration of the people around him.
Exactly. To be acceptable as a black man is probably the subject matter of this work in some way.
Kehinde Wiley is a 29-year-old artist who's painting grand portraits of contemporary urban men in poses first created by some of the greatest masters in the history of art.
Kehinde Wiley thinks art should show you something you've never seen before. Art should take the familiar and represent it in such a way that it gives us hope and that it redeems the value of life itself, really.
Should art make you a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, sure. That usually means there's something there to be investigated.
Kehinde Wiley has been investigating life through art since he was a boy in South Central Los Angeles. One of 6 children, his mother made him and his twin brother take art lessons to keep them off the mean streets and give them a sense of wonder.
He wanted just to know everything. There was just no stopping him. He could just reproduce almost anything that he saw, just drawing. And he delighted in doing so.
By high school, his focus and dedication impressed his art teacher.
Kehinde came with a lot of talent, and I think what he had to do is to convince himself. His work was extremely skilled. He discovered very early what his potential was, and he just developed it.
He graduated from the San Francisco Art Institute and then earned a master's in fine arts from Yale University.
When I left Yale, I felt like now's my time to start making paintings for me and not making paintings to satisfy my professors.
What were your goals when you came to the New York art scene, in quotations?
Yeah. My goals were to have a place to sleep and to have a place to paint.
And I'm feeling good.
But Kehinde soon had much more than that. He became an artist in residence at the Studio Museum of Harlem, where his work flourished.
Kehinde has the passion of a true artist. It is in him. He is his work in many ways. And his talent comes from the fact that he's able to galvanize his passion into his artwork.
His passion, narratives about men and their place in the world, real and imagined.
St. Sebastian.
So time after time, he's taken to city streets, seeking subjects to paint.
How much do I have to pay for that?
No, we pay you.
This time in Columbus, Ohio, for an exhibition which will open there in September at the Columbus Museum of Art. First, Wiley photographs his subjects, asking them to pose in classic positions. What makes you approach one guy and not the next guy?
It's the spirit. I'm looking for someone who has a spirit of self-possession.
Then, using age-old methods, he meticulously paints them in what he says is a conversation about power. Who has it? Who doesn't? Who should? And who could? Last year, he painted portraits of VH1's hip-hop honorees, LL Cool J, Ice-T, and others. His stalwart fans include hip-hop greats like Russell Simmons.
Because hip-hop has brought these people to the forefront, people who are usually locked out. It's a great statement about, imagine poor people in charge, people who are struggling, now the heroes.
Critics agree that everything Kehinde Wiley paints is on purpose.
As a painter, he is also a thinker, a performer, someone involved in social issues. He has a big statement to make about life.
His exhibitions are theater, famous for their size and scope. What do you want people to think about you and your work after they've come to see one of your shows? What do you want them to say?
I would want them to say, wow, this is an interesting spectacle. Wow, you've taken me on this historical roller coaster. Wow, I've never thought about things this particular way. I wonder what's coming next.
As art critics and lovers discover and consider his work, Kehinde's mother knows anything is possible.
He's an artist among artists.